Hello. Oops. Hi. I'm taking over Arts Etobicoke Instagram Live today. Hello. And I'm just gonna wait a few moments and minutes for you guys to come on, and then I'm gonna introduce myself. How is everybody doing today? Hi, return Tomimiko, Mage Spinal. Hi. I have never done this before, so this is so exciting. And thank you, Arts Etobicoke, for inviting me into your space and letting me do a studio tour, a live studio tour. I'm just gonna wait a few seconds. Hello. Kshamasp joined. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I hope I did it right. Here's another one, Arts Enil Delight. Hi. This is so exciting. Oh my god. And you guys, you don't even know what I went through. I was sweating the last 10 minutes because somehow in my building where I am right now, they decided to start repairing balconies. So there was like this massive noise, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope they're going on a lunch break, so you guys don't have to go through this noise with me. But actually it's pretty quiet right now. Yay, cool. So thank you so much, Akshata from Arts Etobicoke, for inviting me to do this live tour. My name is Paula Hartmann, and I am a pajaki maker and a pom-pom artist, and I love paper, so I think my main focus is yarn and paper. So, and I want to talk today with you guys about how this even came to be, and I want to show you what I'm up to right now, what projects I'm working on, and yeah, how this even happened that I started making pajaki. Awesome. So I'm gonna do a Q&A too. I mean, I think it's not gonna be so overwhelming, so if you guys want to just ask me questions a little bit, like in 10-15 minutes or so, we can do that. And I'm just gonna rant about my space. I'm gonna show you what this is all about and tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, so I live in Etobicoke. I don't have a studio, like a professional studio space. I kind of like created one in my home that was empty because it's a sunroom. It gets the most light in our apartment, and nobody really used it. So one day I just decided it's mine, and so I kind of like transformed this little space into my sanctuary. And I think every artist needs a space, even if it's just like a tiny little corner in a room or just a little desk. But I think you need, hi Bensalik, you need a little space to work on your stuff. And there's I find no excuses to create a space like this. You can make the tiniest space into your sanctuary. And I think the more space, once you start taking up space, then it kind of like grows and it becomes bigger and bigger. So I'm actually thinking at the moment, because my space is kind of getting crowded, to move to a different space. But I started making pajaki like about a year ago. Hi, Vicky Kali. Hi, how are you? So at the moment, this space was fine until now, and now I'm kind of like debating if I should expand my studio space. Hi Monica, how are you? Nice to see you here. So I want to give you a little tour, and if you guys have any questions, you can totally ask me anything you like. Maybe I start giving a little tour first, and then I'm going to tell you how I started making pajaki and what it is it all about. Hello, eating a taco, nice. I just made myself some iced tea. It's so hot today, so guys, drink up. And I'm going to show you a few things that I've been working on and my little space, my little sanctuary. So over here, this is my, wait, I'll show you. That's my wall. Where I kind of like collect my yarn. This yarn has been given to me as of donation from a neighbor, and this is kind of like how my whole obsession with pom-poms and yarn started. I was literally sitting in my hallway in my building having a dream of making a yarn pom-pom installation, and I was like, how am I going to afford this? The yarn is expensive. So hi Alrund. So my neighbor came out with a big bag of yarn, probably was like 200 balls of yarn, and she said, I'm going to throw this out. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take it. So this is how the universe sometimes, I think, is crazy and helps you out if you just start doing things. And I just got donated 200 balls of yarn. There's not so many left anymore, but I have kind of like a collection here. And sorry, something popped up. And I love colors, as you can tell. So beige is not really my color, black, gray, but I really love colors. So these are the ones that I kept. And this is a project that I've been working on in the last weeks, that is completely made out of paper. So it's a paper rose. It's kind of like a mosaic that I created out of paper chains. You've probably done these as a kid, and I love them. I love making beautiful things out of the most simple materials. So I looked up some cross-stitch patterns on Pinterest and came across this rose, and then I just started making these this wall chain hanging. Yes, exactly. Hi Kadia. It's so easy, and I'm gonna make a tutorial about this soon, how to make your own wall hanging in any pattern you like, because it's so, you can choose anything, and I chose the rose. It was quite time consuming, so this was for a project that's gonna hang in a window in a store in Toronto, so I'm excited about that. And I'm gonna show you something else. So here, these are, I'm gonna just turn this around so that's maybe easier to see. These are my pajaki. So this is a small one. They are just completely made out of paper and actually rice straw. So these little parts here are rice straw. And there's another one right here. As you can tell, I love the colors, the bright colors. And this one, I made last year. This is a little pom-pom necklace. Yeah, I'm just like obsessed with pom-poms. So this had to happen. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna make a tutorial. And also, there is actually a tutorial about how to make a small pajak. These are these paper chandeliers on my Instagram page. It's Hartmann _ Paula. So Hartmann is written with a T and a double N, and then _ Paula. You can find me there. I also wanted to show you a few things that I've been working on in the last months. So actually, you know, when the whole pandemic started, I was supposed to give a exhibition in a gallery in Toronto. That didn't happen because of that. So that was really sad, and now I have so many pajaki sitting and hanging around here. So, but it's a good thing because I can show it to you. Yes, this necklace is amazing. Although I got, somebody said to me, like, once I wore it, somebody told me, hey, you look like a first grade teacher. And I'm like, this is exactly how I want to look like. I want to look like a fun first grade teacher. So I'm going to show you some of my big paper chandeliers that are completely made with paper, most of them with straw and little beads. So here we go. So this is the first one. This took me probably 2 to 3 weeks on and off. Like, I have a little child, so yeah, you can tell I'm not working like 8 hours a day, but this took me a long time. And each of these petals here is made out of paper, these pom-poms. And then there's another one. I call these ones here the geometric pajaki. They're kind of like a, what do you call, a rhombus, or like a sacred geometry. And this is a project I'm working on right now. I want to show you these beautiful paper flowers that I made. So these ones are entirely made out of tissue paper, and all you need is like a tissue paper and yarn. And I create these to attach them to my pajaki. So this one is kind of like in the process of becoming, and this is going to be a big installation. I don't know if you can tell the size of it, but it's pretty big. And that's also my kind of like my problem right now, because this space is getting a bit too crowded. I kind of like need a high ceilings for my pajaki. And there's another one I can show you. This one is one of my favorites. And yeah, so my tiny little room is, I don't know how much, maybe 6 square meters, right at my balcony. I have a beautiful view over the CN Tower and the city. And if you want to come with me here, so I can show you a little view from here. So this is my little space, my little sanctuary where I sit and twirl paper all day long. And most of the time I also go to my little dining room here, which is usually half full of material that I use for other projects. I'm working on another installation at the moment, so I was stacking some crepe paper here. I also make these crowns. They're made out of pom-poms and flowers, faux flowers. They're super fun, and earrings. Yeah, and I love making things out of, I always say, like, I love to turn shit into gold. That's what my kind of like my philosophy is. Hi, the Real Sapphire Studies joined. Hello, how are you? And so this is kind of like my space where sometimes if I don't sit there because it's too hot, I sit in here. And I made a little wall of my art that I've created in the last months. Just like actually some doodling that I did when I was bored. And I just put them together recently. And these guys here, I don't know if you know what they're called. I'm obsessed with them. They're called Ojos de Dios. They're like God's eyes. And I just love them. They're made out of yarn, and you can turn them also into a chandelier, which I can show you here. I made a huge chandelier, but I have only this part here right now, which is like a huge God's eye. And this is basically hangs on top of you. And then there's some other things that are missing. Yeah, so that's pretty much my space. And if you guys have any questions, I wanted to talk about like what my vision is, why I'm making this, and also how I came to be making these pajaki, these chandeliers, if it's of interest to you. And there's some questions maybe that Arts Etobicoke asked me too, about, you know, what I do in my free time, and so we can go into that too. Thank you, Kadia. Well, yeah, that's kind of like my goal, is to create something out of, sometimes even out of garbage, or something that other people would consider maybe not beautiful or boring, and then turn it into something extraordinary and something that you would look at and be like, what is this? So this is kind of like I feel like my vision, my mission. I can show you one thing that was just like a little experiment, but that shows what I talk about. So these are clothespins that I glued together, and then I added some pom-poms. I don't know what this is going to be or what I'm going to make with this. This was just like a little experiment, but I love it. It's like a little rainbow, and it is made out of clothespins. So it's such an easy material to get. You can get it anywhere, very cheap, and you can make something beautiful out of it. The same with the paper that I use. Tissue paper is so inexpensive, and with a little bit of imagination you can create something extraordinary. Or straw, like these straw mobiles. This is the rice straw that I use, for example, and it's very light. I love that. I love this about mobiles. I think this is why I create mobiles, because they're light and they're kind of like they're hanging on top of you, and it feels very you're like a bit in a different dimension. It feels like everything feels a little bit lighter when you look at them. They twirl. I can show you how they look from the bottom. They have a completely different view from the bottom as well. So when you look up and they start twirling, it's just magical. It's like these little mandalas, and I'll turn that for you. Yeah, so maybe I can talk a little bit about pajaki. I know we don't have too much time. So where can we purchase the rice straw? I found it online at a craft store, at an online craft store, or easier would be even to go to a farmer to ask if you can have some rye, and then cut it yourself, and then you can use them. And this tradition of paper chandeliers it comes from Poland, and they used to make them in the 1800s in the rural areas of Poland, and every house used to hang them up for a certain celebration, for Christmas or Easter or a wedding or something special. And there was kind of like also a competition between who has the most beautiful and biggest and most gorgeous chandelier. So this competition developed like these beautiful, diverse chandeliers that exist now in Poland. It's kind of like an old tradition, so really only the old people in Poland know how to make them. And I discovered this, I would say 1.5 years ago, when I was going through a really rough time in my life. Like I had a family member that was going through really like a heart depression and even suicidal thoughts, and it was really, tricky for me to be around that person sometimes and to stay happy and also supporting for my child. And I think what brought me through this hard time was the pajaki. The word pajaki means actually spider or spiders, because they kind of look like they are nets that are woven. And they say in the Polish tradition that if you have a Polish paper chandelier in your house, it will bring you good fortune and happiness and good luck and abundance. And I can it's magic, but it is true. Like once I've started making pajaki and I hung them up, every time I walked by my living room or my studio, I would smile and I would see them twirl, and that they would kind of like pull me back into the present moment and out of my head, and do not worry so much about the future and about what can happen and what will happen, maybe and maybe not. So they really pulled me into the here and now, and I was just like mesmerized by their beauty. And I think that's why they bring so much abundance and so much joy, because they make the person who makes them is so it's like a trance when you make them. And I can show you like these paper flowers. They exist of hundreds and hundreds of these little petals. By the way, hi Dana, how are you? And thank you for joining. And so you can twirl them. I can show you how to do it for a minute. So you just wrap them like this, like a candy wrapper. First you cut a circle of paper and cut them in 8 pieces, like a pie, and then you twirl them. And one flower is made out of a lot of these tissue paper petal layers, and it's such a relaxing thing to do, and it's kind of like almost like you're getting into a trance, you're getting into like a meditation while you do it. And I think that's why I could really say that pajaki, my chandeliers, brought me joy and maybe even saved me from depression as well. Yeah, that's kind of like the story why I started making them, and then I kept making them and wanted to try different ones, and they became very popular and people really loved them. So yeah, here I am making paper chandeliers. Yeah, hi Yardko, how are you? Hi Javame, hello, how are you? Thank you guys for joining. This is my first Insta Live, so I'm super excited, and yeah. I'm also very excited about, I think this whole pandemic had like a lot of negative, had like influences on us, but I'm so glad at the moment what's happening. I think if this wouldn't have happened, I think a lot of people locally here wouldn't have been connecting, and I'm so thankful that I found Arts Etobicoke, and so much more is happening in the local scene at the moment, which is such a good development. It's such a good thing, and I think people are actually more open to do crafts or arts now, because they can't distract themselves from going shopping, or it's maybe not as fun anymore, or they can't distract themselves by going on a vacation or going to the bar. And so I think what really happened in the last months was like people were trying to figure out, what do I do with my free time? What can I do? So I think art or crafts is like the most beautiful way to spend your time. And that's what I really love about this time right now. It's really a time of potential. Somebody's asking, Yarn Yardco, do you have an Instagram account? Yes, please go. I wanted to actually pin a comment. Let me see if I can do that. I'm gonna just hold on a second. I have a feeling I'm talking so much. I'm so sorry if I bombard you guys with words. So I'm posting my Instagram account right here, and I think I can even pin the comment. Yes, so it should be on the top of the page, and you guys can go there and look at all my chandeliers. I even do custom works too. I do custom chandeliers. They're very popular for becoming moms, because they look beautiful over a baby bed. I'm sure it has like good benefits for the baby, because it twirls in a very slow way and probably calms the baby down. And also colors, because I'm obsessed, as you can tell, with colors. For those of you who didn't see it before, I'm gonna just like show you my paper roses again. They're very colorful, and these chandeliers here, they're super bright. So I'm so obsessed with colors, and I do believe that they have also like a really healing effect on us. I find that people are way too gray and way too beige, and I think a little pop of color can bring so much joy, and also can wake you up, really, depending on your mood, what you're in. Cool. Yes, so do you guys have any questions? Let me see. So if I don't do crafts, I am a mom. My son is 8 years old almost, and he is keeping me very, very busy. And sometimes it's really a struggle to be a mom and to be a creative. Maybe I would love to hear what you guys think about that. If you guys are creative people, I always love to hear any ideas and suggestions for that. But so sometimes I think it's a blessing that I have my studio at home, because when my son is watching TV or is playing a video game, I can just go over and start doing something, even if it's just for 20 minutes. But again, on the other hand, it can be quite tricky, because if your studio is right there, your kid can come in and say, I need a snack, I need something to drink, and you're in the middle of something. So it's like a learning process, and I'm still, just trying to go with the flow usually of what's happening. I don't want to miss you guys' questions. Where can we buy your pieces? So yeah, that's a good question. I used that time in the last months to start working on my website, and it's gonna come soon. I made a professional photo shoot, and I'm just working on it right now. Oh, thank you so much, Yarn Yard Co. I hope I pronounced that right. Your work is beautiful. Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm always inspired by, I'm inspired by nature a lot. I mean, I love flowers, as you can tell. I'm surrounded by a lot of flowers, and just anything can inspire me, really. Something ugly that sometimes I look into my garbage can, I'm like, this looks beautiful, the color combinations. So inspiration can come from anywhere. But yes, back to your question. So I do custom work at the moment. So if you have like a certain idea, if you see something on my page that you like, I can recreate this in a different color, in any kind of size. There's different sizes. If you are interested, I can send you some examples of how that would look like. And soon I'm going to have a website, and then people will be able to go there and see, products and prices and stuff like that. And yeah, so I was talking about my son. What I do usually at this time of the year, we go swimming a lot, we go hiking a lot, we go walking a lot. I find it extremely important as a creative person to do something outside and for your body on a daily basis. Otherwise, I don't know if I could ever create anything. Because the moments when I have some inspiration, or when I really get a great idea, is usually when I'm relaxing outside in nature, or when I just came back from a run. And I think otherwise I wouldn't have the connection to creativity. So I find, for me, as a suggestion for other artists or aspiring artists or hobby artists, go out, get sunshine, get fresh air, get moving. Moving is, I think, the most important thing for me. And Arts Etobicoke asked me if I something that you guys might not know about me. I mean, you guys probably have never heard about me, but I used to be a dance teacher, actually. So this is fairly new, being an artist in this sense. I used to be a choreographer and a dancer, and my whole life I was kind of like always a bit like a rebel, and I never really fit into the normal kind of career paths. So I always kind of like chose what brought me the most joy. And at this moment in time, and I'm very actually happy that about my choices that I made that were sometimes very against, you know, what my friends and family thought would be good for me. And I think that's also part of being an artist, is to be a rebel and to just listen to your intuition and not care about what other people say. And I had to learn this, and it was kind of a process for me to find out who I really am and what I really want to do. But most importantly, it was always about joy and, you know, how to be joyful on a daily basis and not be stuck in a job that I don't like, and create something beautiful that I can be proud of and that brings joy to other people. That's basically what I really want to do with my work. To bring people into the now and let them enjoy what's going on around them. Yeah, so there was another question, a meaningful art experience that I had in my life. There was actually a really meaningful experience that came into my mind right when I read this question, and it was it's kind of like connected to what I'm doing right now too. When I was a choreographer and a dance teacher, I had this really special moment that I created a choreography for my dancers, and one person that was doing the part started crying, and the dance or the music or whatever, all this whole thing together made her actually remember her grandma that was deceived, and she had kind of like a memory of her, and it was very emotional for her, this moment, and it was kind of like a healing moment. And I think that was the most beautiful experience that I had of creating art, that it touched somebody so deeply that they're actually healed, maybe even a stuck emotion in their body that was even holding them back about, you know, their own life going forward. And yeah, that was very powerful, and I didn't even know that this is possible until it happened. And I would love to recreate this so that people feel touched when they see my art and they feel something. Then I wanted to talk also about the importance of community and about what we're going through right now. I think this is the moment, this is the time to be more social and to go local and to meet people in your local area, local artists, do art in your neighborhood. Art for me is very healing. It brings out the best in me. It makes me smile on a daily basis, and I do believe that everyone is an artist. Every single person in this world is an artist, and it's just up to us to find out what we're good at and what our path of creativity is. But I do believe that most of our creativity is suppressed because of how our society works, how our society runs. So Arts Etobicoke, what they do, I think it's amazing, because they bring people back to their own creativity. And if you learn how to create like a simple flower, for example, like a simple thing like a flower, it will help you to create other things in your life. you learn so much from creating simple things that you are able more to handle the big things in life that are maybe more overwhelming or more challenging. Yeah. Cool. Anything else I could show you? I'm just wondering. I'm so glad they stopped drilling the balconies, because before I had like the fear of not being able to do this video because there was so much noise right in front of my window. So I'm so glad that worked out. And yeah, thank you guys. I'm just gonna see. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we had a good talk. If you guys have no more questions, I'm just gonna wait and see if anybody wants to know something. Oh yeah, I should also mention I give workshops. I mean, at the moment it was kind of like on hold, but I do give regular workshops in Toronto for how you can learn how to make pajaki. And if you're interested, you can just hop over to my Instagram account and follow me, and I will update you guys soon about what's happening. There were some workshops planned that had to be cancelled, but I am sure that this is gonna change soon, and that we're gonna organize a few workshops. So yeah, if you want to learn how to make pajaki, it's very rewarding, it's very fun, it's very colorful, then follow me and I'll give you some updates. Okay, I have the feeling I talked so much. Thank you again, Arts Etobicoke, for asking me to do this. This was my first Insta Live and as an artist, and I thank you guys all for joining and for being so patient, sitting in front of your phone in this heat and listening to me. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day. Bye.